Hi everyone, welcome to another video. This is Romit from Epicenter. So in this video we'll continue with from where we left off. We created the basic payout agent which was able to retrieve the various amounts related to consumables, non-consumables, and the total amount from the receipt it was receiving from the ingestion agent. Now in this video we will go one step further and change the ASL with respect to these agents. We will fine tune the ASL because ASL, if you remember, is currently very basic. We have just locally tested all the three agents with the local event from the local file. We have not tested the end-to-end flow, so that is also one thing we want to test in this video. So we fix the ASL with respect to the changes we have done, and also one more thing is we have to add a trigger lambda which will actually trigger step functions when a S3 notifications is received by that lambda, because when you place a file in S3 an event gets triggered, we all know that, but that event can't trigger step functions directly. So we need a service like a lambda to trigger step functions on S3 notification. Okay, so that is something we need to do. Once we have that, then we will be in a position to test it by placing a file in S3, or even locally we can try to test by sending it a S3 like event. And when we will test the trigger lambda, at that time we can try to test if step functions is getting called properly and the entire workflow is getting executed or not. Okay, so that so these are the different steps we need to do to complete this end-to-end flow. I'll not move to decision agent before we complete this, because now we are in a position where we need the end-to-end testing to be in place. So let's do that. Let's try to complete that in this video. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so we are here. We were able to create the payout lambda from the last video. Okay, very basic stuff. It is currently sending to the it is sending as an output. Let's move to our prompt cheat sheet as always. This is where we left off. Okay, so now the ASL change, we have to change the ASL for the ingestion to ingest claims related three files, actual claims form, the receipt and the policy copy, then payout and coverage agents getting receipt and claims form policy text as params respectively. Okay, from ingestion agent. Okay, and then after that we will have the trigger lambda related prompt to create the lambda, and we will try to test that out. Okay, so let's start with the ASL change. Let me go to the claims workflow.asl. As you can see, it's the basic, very basic ASL we are having. We actually didn't change the ASL after making the agent changes, so this is the video to do that. So this is more of a step functions fine-tuning video, I would say, and doing the end-to-end testing of the various agents we created. Okay, I'll be back once this is done. Yes guys, so the changes are currently going on. The Copilot is making the changes. So it has changed the ASL file like this. It is also changing the infra related part because a new lambda has come. We didn't change the payout lambda related changes in the infra part, so that is something which it is doing. The role, the execution role in that lambda, and so on and so forth. Okay, exactly like coverage, various places where you have to add the output and the other stuff related to infra. So this is what it is currently doing. Okay, so along with coverage, it is adding all the other properties, or all the properties or changes very similar to coverage it is making for the payout as well, because more or less they are very similar to each other. Yes, guys. So if we look at the changes which it has made, starting from the dev autowares file, okay, main.tf, then coming to the infra main.tf, in the step functions it has added the ARN. In the Lambda, obviously the zip path got added and the Lambda role ARN got added. Variables zip path got added, right? And then IAM, you would have these two outputs getting added, and IAM role policy related resources getting added, very much similar to coverage Lambda, as I already mentioned. In Lambda you have another resource getting added for the payout, okay, and you have the output in form of ARN and name, the Lambda ARN and the Lambda name, okay, and the corresponding variables. Okay, so these are typically the changes for the infra part. It's good that it is already understanding the changes to be made in the infra part, okay, but better to put it in form. Okay, I added this line later here, so if we would have executed that line in the last video, then it would have done the infra part that time only, but it didn't do that. Okay, so we have the infra part taken care also for the payout agent in this particular change. Let's now look at the ASL change. So it has added the two agents in parallel, okay. The coverage should get claim text and policy text from the ingestion agent, and the payout agent should get policy number, job ID and receipt text, okay. But I don't know why output, it is not basically linking the output of ingestion to the two agents, so that I need to check quickly. Okay, let's quickly check this. So what it is telling is that no explicit mapping is needed, which is really good actually, because I didn't know such a thing exists. So with something known as adjudication, okay, let me put this keyword here in the prompt. This is amazing thing. I was not knowing this actually. Okay, so with adjudication, automatically this becomes as a attribute coming from the ingestion result. Okay, you don't have to use the result dot attribute and so on and so forth. Previously, all of my ASLs I used to do that. So I think we all learn something new every day, right? So this is one such thing for me today. Okay, which is fantastic. Okay, so I think we have the things in place. Then let's go to the trigger lambda. Let's create that code, and then we'll try to do this end-to-end testing. Yes guys, so it was able to make the changes. First it created this trigger lambda file which will trigger the step functions state machine. Okay, this is the file to test the trigger of the state machine, and then it has changed the infra related to the new trigger. First of all, the trigger lambda, so you know the policies related to lambda are all there. Apart from that, the other thing which it has added is the AWS lambda permission resource. This is a resource required only for invoke lambda, because you know invoke lambda you know, because S3 event would invoke the invoke lambda resource, right? So that is why we need this resource only for that lambda. Okay, this requires the S3 bucket ARN. So this resource will always come after the S3 bucket is created. Okay, and the S3 bucket notification resource, you know, which will again be linked to the trigger lambda ARN. Okay, and other things are all very basic lambda related changes which I think you can follow easily. They are very similar to the other lambdas we have created. Okay, and in the step function it has added the payout lambda ARN, which I think we already saw. Okay, so I think then we are fine. Let's quickly you know, apply these changes. And one more thing we need to do is we have to change the code so that each of the lambdas, they you know are basically you know, unzipped from the same zip file. Okay, so I don't want to create separate zip files for each lambda. We can just create a agents.zip, and one zip can be used for all. Okay, so let me put the prompt for that as well. So initially we had this like coverage.zip, ingestion.zip. Instead we can have an agents.zip created on the agents folder inside src. Okay, we will change the code related to this particular method. Okay, because you know, it becomes very difficult to manage the different zips for each agent. I mean, that's one of the methods. I'm not saying that you cannot do that with that, but it's always, I mean, I have found that with multiple agents it's always good to have one zip for an agents folder which contains the code for all the agents. Okay, and then with the help of the function name we can distinguish between the different folders. Okay, ingestion.main.handler, coverage.main.handler, like that. So let's see if it does that automatically. Okay, so it created the agents.zip, which is good. Okay, let's see what it is changing in the infra part now. Yes, triggered, see handler, it is making trigger.main.handler. Okay, similarly ingestion.main.handler, and all these files you would have handler as the name, correct? Yes, main file and handler as the function name, so it calls that specific function. Okay, yes, so now we can have agents zip path as a single variable instead of multiple variables for each agent separately. Okay, I think it will change this in all the places where we have separate zip files for all the agents. Instead we just need one zip path given in the dev tf-vars, which will then which we can use in all the agents or Lambda. Okay, so it has completed that, which is great. And now let's create a build script to create agents.zip under src folder and execute the Terraform related commands by going inside the dev folder. Okay, let's quickly do this. Yes guys, so it has made the changes. Okay, and I have also applied the changes once to AWS. Okay, so we have the build.sh. What that will do is it will create a agents.zip inside of your src folder and then do a Terraform apply. Okay, so that has already been done. I was trying to now trigger the trigger Lambda with the local file. Okay, so let me show you. So this is what is there in the invoke local.py. We are setting the OS environment variable of state machine ARN. So I got the ARN from the AWS cloud, put it here because this is for local testing, and the S3 bucket is the S3 bucket which got created. This again is hard-coded value, which is fine for now, and this is the key, the tenant name and the claim PDF. Okay, so it is able to basically start the step functions in trigger main.py. Our only aim is to start these step functions. Once the step function starts with the event, then it will first invoke the ingestion agent and then the other agents and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's see if the step functions has that. So this is the latest run. Okay, it is failing somewhere, so now let's fix some of the issues we see here. Okay, so some issues may come, so you have to just take it one issue at a time and fix them. For example, timeout. Okay, so timeout issue, let me change this in the prompt also. Because this issue I always get, because 3 seconds is not enough for ingestion. Okay, or any of the agents. I generally give timeout of 5 minutes. Okay, I mean we can change it to specific timeout for different agents, but for simplicity I just add 5 minutes for now. Ingestion little bit requires higher time, but the other agents should be quick. Okay, so let's basically add the timeout of 5 minutes for all the lambdas. Okay, so yeah, it should do that. Then we'll try to execute the step functions again by invoking the trigger lambda locally. By the way, local user, I have given all the permissions related to the local user. That is why it is able to invoke the lambda and then via lambda the step functions. Okay, so it has added the timeout of 5 minutes, that is 300 seconds everywhere. Okay, let's quickly do a build because we want this to go to AWS cloud. Shouldn't take much time. Yes, so the changes are applied. Now let's check if that error of timeout is gone. Okay, so ingestion is going on. As I mentioned, ingestion may take time because it is trying to ingest 3 files, content of 3 files. Okay, okay, so awesome, we have the ingestion running successfully. It is able to get the claim text from the claim file. Okay, receipt text and the policy text. Okay, actual policy text. Then coverage, let's quickly check the state input to coverage. It should contain the policy text, okay, and the claim text, which is great, that is the claim form text. Payout should contain input as the as receipt text actually, which is not what is happening. Let me check. Yes, receipt text. So payout needs to contain the receipt text. Let's see in ASL what we have put there. Payout should contain receipt text going as input. Okay, let me refresh it because I think somehow there may be some UI thing there. Let me check the state input. Text, receipt text. Okay, okay, but it is able to retrieve the amount. Okay, which is great because amount, let's quickly check where exactly we are getting this. Okay, so this information would be there in the receipt text only, as I understand, right? So brace procedure amount, okay, and the consumables it has paid is 2,000, 24,000. So it has added all these amounts. Okay, so I think we are fine. We are getting the output from the payout and the output from coverage as well. The coverage output is this. Okay, Okay, so we can quickly check with Copilot only whether payout, in the payout only receipt text is going or all params. Let's quickly check the Copilot. Anyway, that is not a very major change because ultimately in the payout we are anyway only looking for the receipt text. So even if it got sent in the event, we are only trying to basically grab hold of receipt text from the event. Okay, we can also check here in the logs quickly. Let's quickly check the logs as well, log groups also. Okay, so we have logs getting created for all the agents. Okay, which is great. Claims automation, ingestion, payout, coverage. Okay, coverage also. Let's quickly check in payout. What are we having? Okay, so it has okay, so only these three are going, which is great. So that means here we are maybe not seeing it in the correct way. I'm not sure. Okay, then we are fine, I think. So we have receipt text only going into the payout Lambda. We have seen that from the logs. So that's what I wanted to cover in this video. Hope it was informative. We were able to create the ASL related changes and also test the system end to end. That the step functions is getting triggered, and it is and then it is in turn calling the ingestion agent, which in turn is ingesting the three files and sending the text to the two agents, and coverage and the payout agents are able to give us the required outputs. Okay, in the next video we'll create the decision agent and wind this series. Hope you're liking the series. This is Romit from Epicenter. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.